Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a video where we are discussing a video that came out on Friday, and this is what we call Project Restoration. We're introducing a new Minecraft server called DynastyPvP. The name might be familiar, but it's got new ownership, and that is myself, and I'm going to introduce you to who I am and what we're doing here for DynastyPvP. Over the course of this video, we'll discuss who I am, what the technology is behind DynastyPvP, and we'll discuss the restoration project, what my philosophy is as the developer, what the stakes are, and what our launch details are. So, who am I? My name is Ben. I go online by TheHonestDev, and I have a background in plugin development and software development. I've been playing Minecraft since 2011, and I've been playing on the servers that you know and love, such as Mineplex, The Hive, Hypixel, and TheArchon. And I've been interested in developing servers since 2013, is when it really kind of kicked off, when I wanted to develop my own UHC plugin, because I liked what Hermitcraft were doing and what the Cube were doing, and that's where I really set off my love for development. In 2015, late 2015, early 2016, I took a position as a helper and helper plus and moderator on pvp.thearchon.net, arguably the greatest faction server of all time. And I did so because I wanted to learn and understand how to run a server, because it's always been something I've wanted to do, is run a server for players so that everyone can enjoy themselves, and so that I can kind of express myself as a person, because that's where I like to express myself, is in software development, making plugins, making people have a good time, you know, that sort of stuff. And I kind of really needed to understand the moderation stuff behind all of it. It did also help that I did watch the Camping Russia at the same time, so that's kind of where my love for the Archon itself came from. I did at the same time take on a plugin called Tags GUI and a plugin called Discord Minecraft. They're public Spigot plugins. Both of them are now archived because I stopped developing them during the pandemic, because I really needed to focus on my personal life, and I also needed to focus on my experience in hospitality and retail. So I have management experience in that area, which allows me to think like a good manager and understand best business practices and best community engagement practices and stuff. And fast forward to today, we're in 2026, and I'm ready to jump back into the game. I've got plenty of time, and I've got plenty of focus to put into DynastyPvP to make it the greatest server of all time. So, just to make sure everyone's on the same page, Factions is a competitive game mode where you must team up with allies to create your own faction. As a team, you'll build massive bases, recruit the best members, and attempt to raid and take down rival groups in a quest to become the strongest and richest faction on the server. So, what's under the hood? So, we have crafted a fork of Spigot we call Dynasty Paper, and it allows us to provide the best-in-class faction experience of any server. So what you'll see on the screen now is just some statistics for you when we did some testing. So we managed to explode 300,000 pieces of TNT during our testing period, and we were doing that so that we could make sure that the server doesn't crash when we do so. And what we discovered is that even on 4 GB of RAM, the code worked. TPS dropped to 14, which, if you know anything about Minecraft, it's not the best, but there's definitely much worse. And staying at 14 TPS is actually really quite an achievement. We also tested, I think it was 100,000 TNT, but with 350 players on the server, and again, the server remained intact. It didn't crash whatsoever. And what these optimizations allow us to do is allow you to have many different players doing so many different things at any given time. So, during an average raid, each TNT explosion, each cannon explosion, will be about 3,000 pieces of TNT. We just wanted to make sure that we had the server fine-tuned to allow the high-end experience that everyone expects. So what we did is we disabled the mob AIs, and the only mobs that do work as intended are creepers, ender dragons, and withers, and that's because creepers are a fundamental part of raiding, right? So you want them to be able to detect the player so that they can still explode. And withers still need to have their AI so they can still chunk through bases. But the Ender Dragon still has its AI enabled because 7 days after the launch on June the 1st, we will be having the End event. We've also managed to get sponges reverted back to their 1.7 intended functionality. So you place down the sponge, it doesn't change into a wet sponge. It remains as a normal sponge. And it also creates that 3-block barrier around it. There is a visual glitch at the moment where it looks like they're ticking, so it looks like the water's going to keep flowing, but I promise you, just walk out of render distance, come straight back, that visual glitch will go. That's all it is, it's just visual. Whilst we did our testing, we also had a bit of a funny situation. We had some mobs spawned in to do the testing of mob AIs, and then I invited a few players onto the server just to kind of help stress test the server. And there was a slime. We're going to call him Simon. Simon the Slime managed to kill players with his AI disabled. We don't quite know how, because he wasn't able to move. But he managed to kill some players, which I think is quite funny, to be honest. So what we're going to do is we're going to put Simon the Slime in the hub. On the faction server, there will be a Simon the Slime event where you have to kill Simon the Slime. And the first to kill him gets the Simon Sword. Incredibly OP sword. There will only ever be one in existence. So what is the Restoration project? DynastyPvP is the spiritual successor to servers such as TheArchon, Sky Regions, UHC Zone, and many more out there. And we're doing that because we want to provide the best in-class faction experience of any server. So we will have the nostalgic 1.8.9 Minecraft faction server, and that will be the very first server that we launch. But we will also bring about a modern day faction server. So it will be on the latest version, it will have never seen before features, and we will make sure to maintain the perfect precision with cannons, and PvP will be finely tuned as well. We also want to provide a home for UHC play. I started out with a UHC server, and I helped orchestrate a UHC recorded round known as the Melon Blooded UHC. But then we also want to provide a home for Skyblock players that want the OG experience. You know, before Skyblock became a massive MMORPG style where you log into Hypixel and then suddenly you're in Windcrest. Skyblock will always be on the latest version, but we won't go absolutely nuts making random things, because at the end of the day, players are going to get confused. They're not going to want to stick around because they have no skin in the game. We want to make sure that it is fair for everybody, no matter how late in the season that you start. And yes, Skyblock will be season-based. Let's talk about my philosophy as a developer, right? So, my philosophy as TheHonestDev is to be transparent and honest. You know, such a radical idea, I know. But we want to do this to keep the players in the loop at all times about what's happening. So gone are the days of admins keeping secrets and dodging the community. And we don't want to hide what we're doing. And we don't want to obfuscate how we're doing it. We want to make sure everyone knows what's going on at any given time. Because nothing's more frustrating than when you go and ask a simple question about what's going on and you get passed around to 17 different people, or you don't get a straight answer. I really don't like that. That's really bad user experience. So what we've done is there's multiple channels in the Discord. You have the staff changes log in the Discord so that players can know who they can contact. It will always have the username in-game, okay? So you can always /message them and ask for support. We also have the network updates channel for leadership to keep you guys informed about any changes on the network. So if I've committed a huge change to how Dynasty paper works, you guys will be able to see that. And if I need to make some changes in one of the plugins. Again, you guys will find out about that. And the changes will always be put live on the server before I write that changelog. We also have a server status channel, and that's visible so that you guys can keep track of when servers are being restarted or added or removed from the network. So if I go to create a server called Skyblock a Million, you guys will be able to see the next quite important ones. We've got the placements channel and the payouts channel. So the placement channel is where the f-stop plugin will keep a log at the end of the world about who won what season of Factions. And we will also make it include the Skyblock top list as well when we get Skyblock released. And obviously the payouts channel is where we keep a record of the payouts to the winning teams. Obviously, personal identifiable information will always be redacted. We will never show a person's name or person's address or anything like that in that channel. And we've got this channel because it keeps us accountable to you guys. If you guys have won and we've not paid you out, it gives you a way to chase us for it. And then finally we have the contact staff forum. This is where players can contact staff to ask for support or apply for staff or report hackers, and most importantly, you guys can report abusive staff. We want to make sure that there is a completely equal playing field across the entire network. So we want to make sure that if there's something dodgy going on, you guys can report it and we'll see it. And only I have access in that channel to close or delete threads. No other team members can. So, why should you guys play? And how do we guarantee that your prizes are legitimate? On the screen, you'll see the proposed number that we have in terms of the maximum payout for the first 2 seasons. Now see this table. So, in Season 1, it will be completely Bycraft vouchers. And we're doing that because we want to make sure that financially, the server can run indefinitely, right? We can't guarantee a payout in cash prize if the server doesn't do well. So we want to make sure we can fulfill the payout, but that any money that the server does generate goes straight back into the server. It goes straight to making sure you guys get the best experience out of the network. Season 2, ideally, we'll have generated enough income that we can do a $500 PayPal payout as well as a $500 Bycraft voucher. But again, that's dependent on how well the server does. Now, we can guarantee that when you win on Factions Top or Skyblock Top or however else, you win because the numbers make sense. So F-top value is determined by a number of factors. So the blocks in a claim, the spawners in a claim, the items in a chest in your claims, and the total sum of your player balances in the faction. And a really key thing to note is that staff do not have access to modify these. Everything is tracked. If an admin changes a block in your faction, that's logged. Runs a command to change your player balance, again, that is logged. If your spawner changes from what it should be, that is logged. Everything is logged, and everything is tracked internally. And then we have access on the back end to a tool called Grafana, which allows us to monitor the server's performance and to make sure that you guys are getting the lag-free experience that we expect to be able to give you. And not only that, the server is backed up every 12 hours to ensure that any hiccups that do happen, in the rare event that they do, are handled correctly and that restorations can happen just like that. Alright, we want to make sure that, again, you guys have the best experience all around. So how can you support the server? Well, on May the 25th, we are going to be launching the network. So we've picked May the 25th because it's a bank holiday in the UK, which means UK players will have a day off from school and they'll have a day off from work. And we've picked 3 PM Eastern Standard Time because it also allows the US players to finish school, finish work, come home, and they can also join the network. And 3 PM also means it's not too late in the UK for the UK players to join. It's about 8 PM in the evening UK time, give or take about an hour. When we release the network, content creators and players will be allowed on the server only at launch time. There will not be a separate login time for content creators and players, or donators and players. Everyone will have the same playing field across the board. I will also be recording a series on the server too, but I won't be on my owner account. I won't be on my account, the Java Hacker. I will be on my account, TheHonestDev. Now, this account will have the YouTuber rank, which grants me access to /fly, but that's for broadcast use only. So, any YouTuber that abuses these permissions will need to be reported in the Discord. So, /fly can only be used in big events if you're not participating, and only like showing off cannons, for example, not for in-game when you're about to PvP, or if you're doing if you're showing off a base that you're raiding, you cannot /fly. The only time I will be on my owner account is when I'm doing my staff duties, or during an event where I'm live streaming, because obviously I need to be running the event. I may play in these events, but again, it'll all be live streamed, so you guys can hold me accountable if I do something dodgy. At the start of the world, there is a 7-day grace period, no matter which season you're on. So that means no TNT, no creepers, no explosions, no withers, and the Ender Dragon is all disabled. But make no mistake, PvP is still enabled. You can still PvP one another. You can still overclaim one another. From Season 2, we will start enabling a 3-day donator-only access. That's done so that we can incentivize supporting the server. So the grace period for Season 2 will be 10 days, because it's 7 days standard for everybody, but then obviously you've got the 3 days where donators only can access the server. I want to leave you guys with one thing especially. So, because obviously I'm recording on the server, and everything will be done so that you guys can see everything that I'm doing. If I can't beat you without my abusive permissions, if I can't beat you without logging into my admin or owner account, I've not done my job right. Okay? We want this to be the best experience on the network. If I'm abusing, that's not fair. That's not fun. How can I join DynastyPvP? So you can join our Discord today by going to dynastypvp.net/discord. The link is in the description below. You can financially support the network at shop.dynastypvp.net, and you can pick up your ranks, you can pick up your jelly legs, you can pick up your chat tags and all that sort of stuff. And don't forget to add play.dynastypvp.net to your Minecraft server list. But that's all for now, folks. Hope you guys have a fantastic day, and goodbye.